Hello everyone and welcome back to our Football Manager 2017 experiment where we take a look at what happened if you try to destroy a Premier League club. Now you can see from the graph on the screen that the destruction of Arsenal actually went quite well, dropping them all the way down to League 2, finishing 22nd and just about avoiding relegation. That was the point at which they bottomed out, and since then they have had a little bit of a recovery, managing to get back into League 1, finishing as high as 8th, before then getting relegated again, getting promoted again, and then this season in League 1, they actually finished 21st in the league, if the game will load. As you can see there, just finishing 21st in the league, 1 point from safety, not enough effort there to keep them up, and it means they'll be back down in League 2. And last time out, we did spot that they had been taken over by a tycoon, which meant that they did have some cash in the bank, and I think they also, from memory, had a sugar daddy at the club. If we look at their finances, you can see they've got a front-end sugar daddy now. And a lot of you, when I left it to you in the comments, wanted to see a big jump forward in time to see if the tycoon could save the club and reverse its fortunes. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to go forward about 10 years, and then we're going to see if the club has managed to return to the Premier League or not in that decade of new ownership. Well, before we skip forward 10 years, I have just made myself the manager of Arsenal. Now, this won't impact the experiment. I'll reload the last save point before going ahead, but I am desperate to see what a sand pitch looks like in this game. I have a theory it will just be a grass pitch, but I know a lot of you are curious as well. So let's get in there. And there is genuinely a sand pitch in the game. I have never ever seen this before. I don't know if any of you have either, but this is absolutely incredible. It looks great. Why can't we have this for every game? That would be brilliant. They are actually playing at home on a sand pitch. Now, somebody on Twitter told me that a sand pitch is unacceptable at any level of the game, but we have managed to get one, and I'm absolutely blown away. They've even got the shadows on it and everything. It looks just incredible. Who knew that there was a full-size sand pitch available in football? Now, Bognor Regis are the team that Arsenal are playing today, and Bognor are on the attack, and they've just put that one wide. But the Emirates Stadium has a sand pitch. I cannot get over this whatsoever. We're just going to live-com this game. I think this has made this part of the episode worthwhile already. I genuinely wasn't expecting a sand pitch to arrive whatsoever. This is a chance to see the Arsenal team in action. I've done nothing with the team. We're even playing a 3-5-2, a flat 5 in midfield, so I don't anticipate much of a performance in this game. But Samuels is sending the ball into the box, and it's claimed by Wright in goal. Might even be Richard Wright, who knows. But I'm interested in the physics of this game. Are they any different on a sand pitch? Does the ball move slower because it's sand? Does it not really bounce? Does it just drop? Either way, Logan on the ball sends it back to Embleton. They're running very quick given this is a sand pitch. It doesn't seem to impact them whatsoever. I'm just looking for a big punt forward, really. Coates on the ball, does punt it forward. Cut out by Clara, though. Forbes on the right, puts it over the top, and it does bounce. Buchanan puts it into the middle. Ryan arriving, has got the first goal on a sand pitch I have ever seen in Football Manager. I cannot believe that this is allowed to be a thing. Bognor looking to come back. Lose the ball to Hiljerson. Now Buchanan. Back to Forbes, ball over the top, and it does just bounce there for Hiljerson, who puts it in, and Ryan finds the bottom corner for 2-0. Well, it is about to finish 2-1. I am absolutely blown away by this little thing that we've just tried out. I spent so long trying to get the highlights to these Arsenal matches. Don't know why I'm trying to do a team talk, but I spent so long trying to get the highlights for those games, unable to get them, and finally I set up a friendly, and that is absolutely worth it. That is one of the best things I've seen in this game. And I am just curious about what other pitches are available, because I know there's a synthetic pitch, but I think there's a fourth option. We've got sand, grass, gravel, clay, grass synthetic. Okay, we have a new Football Manager experiment that is going to be coming up in the next day, I think, where I just try all of these pitches. I mean, what on earth is non-grass? I don't understand what that is. We're going to do a little experiment up next where we do take a look at all these things. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and you'll see that in the next day or so once I've got the video ready. But let's get back to this experiment after that very entertaining detour. Well, we are now 10 years into the future, and Arsenal do finally have a grass pitch. There goes the end of the sand pitch that they've had this whole time. They're in a new stadium, the Herbert Chapman Arena, and they have also consolidated their position in the Championship for a long period of time here. The new ownership really helping them up the league table. They did get promoted at the first time of asking, winning the Sky Bet League 2. Despite getting relegated straight away, they then finished 9th before winning the Sky Bet League 1 as well just 2 years later, and their first time back in the Championship since falling all the way down to League 2. They nearly went down again, but managed to do quite well. 19th, 11th, 15th, 13th, 18th, 17th, and then just hovering around mid-table, never really progressing into the top half until this final season, where if we have a look at their competition screen, you can see they did finish in 8th place, just 2 points off Newcastle in the playoff position. So very, very close there to being able to go back up. They also made it to the 5th round of the FA Cup and the 3rd round of the EFL Cup. So they are starting to rebuild it as a club, getting a proper stadium and finally getting their grass pitch under their belt. If we look at their general information, they're in the process of a board takeover again. The changes do not stop at this club. They're now valued at £87 million, rebuilding after that huge debt they had following the collapse. Their season ticket price now up to £1,369 as well. People were interested in the legends, icons, favoured personnel. I don't think it's changed much at all. I think the icons is a bit longer. Maybe a few recent players starting to appear in there, and the favoured personnel obviously will have seen some changes, but I don't think there's many new names on those lists whatsoever. If we have a look at their club details, you'll see the reputation now really rebuilt up to a point of nearly 6,000. The club attendance still around 26,000. Minimum club attendance still very low, but the maximum is quite high. Finances still pretty good, £51 million in the bank and about 14 million in the transfer budget. The formerly front-end sugar daddy is now a back-end sugar daddy, so he's putting less and less money into the club, just sort of covering their losses at this point. But they have really rebuilt the facilities, training and youth facilities up to 15 and 18, 9 youth recruitment, 10 junior coaching, 16 corporate facilities in the new stadium. So you can see this new owner really has just absolutely gone at the club. And if we drop back to about 34, when we did leave the last save, you see they got promotion from Sky Bet League 1 there. I think we've actually gone further than 10 years. I think I'm just terrible at maths. But they were actually, because this was the last point, they got relegated from League 1, then they got promoted to League 2 again, League 2 champions, and then they increased the stadium capacity to 9,000 at the Old Emirates, upgraded the youth and training facilities again, Checker Trade Trophy runners-up, but Sky Bet League 1 champions, and then the owner scaled down the funding. That was 13 years ago, so we've definitely gone further than 10 years ahead. And then they just switched their captains around a bit, and then in 2034, 10 years ago, they moved to the Herbert Chapman Arena, the new stadium, upgraded their facilities once more, and the youth category rating was raised to category 1, and now they are looking at a new ownership structure, but I don't know if there's a way we can see what the new owner is like. I don't know if there's news information on them possibly. The Arsenal takeover talks continue. It looks like it's just a normal takeover. It really doesn't look like it's a big... I mean, if they've got a lack of funds to take over the deal, it doesn't look like it's a tycoon. It's just a consortium. So the previous owner looking to move on. But still quite good that Arsenal have rebuilt to this point. Looking at their other facilities, nothing major here. They've got a 20-year sponsorship deal on the stadium, which will bring in about 15 million quids off the top of my head. If we look maybe at their transfers, since they got the tycoon in on the transfer history screen, drop back to about 31, which I think when we left off, as you can see, no money spent that season, 1.7 million going out. But then they spent £15 million. That's a lot of cash, given they were down in, I think, League 2 at that point. £20 million the year after that. 5 the year after that, with a bit more going out. And then the spending reined in a bit before another big splurge of £15 million, £18 million, £13 million. They raised £31 million a year after that, but spent 20 more million. 20 million again. You can see the spending really going up at this point. The Tycoons' money absolutely shining through. This is when they were in the Championship the last few seasons. £12 million, but still lower levels than they were back when they were in League One and League Two, with about 20 to 30 million pounds going out of the club. And that's because the Tycoon scaled down his funding. So despite all this money being spent, they haven't managed to get out of the Championship. And if we have a look at their senior squad right now, and sort them by valuation, you'll see still only around £6 million. Apparently Stephen Ireland has been reincarnated, but not the most expensive Championship team you will ever see, and that's just because they've not been pumping the money in recent seasons. It's also got a pretty average sort of age branching across the 20s up to 30. So not particularly a young squad either. But I don't think they won any other competitions. If we have a quick look at the competition screen, I don't think they've won anything in a long time. FA Cup, nowhere near. 2015, last victory there. 93, the last time they won the EFL Cup. But they have added the Sky Bet League 1, League 2 in there, and runner-up in the Checkatrade Trophy as well. So I guess we're at a bit of a crossroads now with this. After the fun of seeing the sand pitch, I'm not too personally bothered about doing another part to this experiment. We wanted to see where the club could get to naturally. Their Tycoon, after about a decade in the Championship, is leaving the club, and the new consortium coming in will almost certainly not have the money to push them up into the Premier League. But they do have their new stadium now. They're rich in finances, so it's hard to say for sure. But I think maybe if you guys let me know in the comments, are you interested in a final part to this season? I did mention in previous comments that I might give the club back its stats, and the only reason I haven't done that is because of the Tycoon coming in, because they're in the Championship, and because they've got the new stadium. But if you are interested in seeing us try and rebuild the club, do let me know. But I think ultimately this is probably a natural point to end this experiment, and it would allow us to do a new experiment where we take a look at all the different kinds of pitches that you can have in Football Manager, which will just absolutely make my day. But if you have enjoyed this experiment, and it's been quite a long one, do drop a like on the video. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it overall, and make sure to subscribe as well if you're new. But until next time, see ya.